Okay, so here we're going to start with what we've all been waiting for. We've been talking about linear equations, and now we're really talking about linear functions because we have y equal mx plus b, which is a function because it's the same as writing f of x is equal to mx plus b. Okay, so this is what we're familiar with. This is what we like the most. Lines are obviously functions, and they're obviously one-to-one functions. So you've seen this equation before. We call it the slope-intercept form of a line for a very good reason, because you just have to look at it and know what those two things are. So obviously m is equal to the slope of the line, and b, I'm going to be careful how I write it because I do get pretty picky about this, means that 0, b is my y-intercept. Remember, we always give those intercepts as ordered pairs to remind us that these are points on a coordinate plane. There's really one other interesting thing to notice is that when we're doing word problems, we're talking about context and things, the y-intercept is often referred to as an initial value because it's the value of y when we're starting, when x is 0. We typically start when x is 0, so we're going to call this an initial value often. So how do you write this equation of a line if you're given 2 points? So imagine that I have these 2 points, 3, -7, and I have a second point that might be -4, -11 or something. These are 2 points in space. If I connect them with a straight line, I want to be able to describe that line. So we'll start by finding the slope of that line, because we have spent a lot of time working on how to do slope. So remember, we take the change in y and the change in x values, okay? So slope, I'll give you the formula, the one we remember, delta y over delta x. So how does y change? It goes from 11, -11, don't forget, and you subtract the -7. So I have a lot of negatives going on. And on the bottom, how does x change? Well, it starts at -4, so then I will subtract the 3. And if I work this out, I have -11 plus 7, that comes out to be a -4, and on the bottom I get a -7. So let's go ahead and call our slope 4/7. So that's the first step in finding this equation of the line. Okay, you'll notice on the top of every slide I am writing out y equal mx plus b. It's such a powerful tool for us, we want to always keep that in our mind. So I was asked to write the equation, and so far I have found the slope. Our second job is to find b, right? That's what it's going to take. You're going to find the m, and you're going to find the b. Okay, so we need to find b now. And the way to do that is I'm going to use 1 point. Okay, so let's go back to one of the points I have and let the x and the y correspond to those. So x will be 3 and y will be -7. So when I go back to my formula, that y equal mx plus b, the y value is -7. The m I have found as 4/7. The x, going back to that point, is 3. And then I know there's a plus b. Now I've left myself with quite the fraction work to do, so it's a good habit to go ahead and work in fractions. So let's try this. So I'm going to go ahead, give myself some more space. -7 is equal to 12/7 plus b. I'm trying to find the value of b, remember? So I need to subtract the -12/7. But now my -7, if I could come up here and do a little scratch work, needs to be written with the common denominator so I can add my fractions. So he wants to multiply by 7/7. So he's really a 7/1. So common denominator for him will be -49/7. So let me do this. I have to take -49/7. I'm subtracting 12/7, and that will be b. So in the end, -49 minus 12 is -61. And I have found my value of b. So to write the final answer, I will go ahead and put my m value that I previously found and used. Remember down here I used it. And I'm going to put it together with the b. So my answer, let's try it right here, a little space I found for it. The answer for the equation of the line y equals, start with m, x is x, plus, or if you want to go ahead, you can just go ahead and use a minus. (61/7). Okay, and that would be the equation of the line. Okay, so that's really all we're going to cover today, but we are going to give you one problem to try on your own to write the equation of the line that's passing through this points (5, 6) and your second point (3, 20). So give that a try. You can check your answer on the next slide. Okay, so hopefully you worked it out. Y equals 7x plus 41. If you did, that's awesome. We will be doing a lot new and different things tomorrow in class. If you want to see how I got this answer, you can watch the next slide, and then you're done. Thanks, everybody. Okay, so the first thing I did was I decided to find the slope. So looking how y changes on the top and how x changes on the bottom, I came up with a slope of 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and find the b that's also needed here by picking one of the points and letting x equal -5 and y equal 6. Yes, of course you could choose the other point, and there's no reason to choose one or the other. So it's really your preference. And so when I plug that into the formula, y equal mx plus b, I'm putting y as 6, m is 7, x is a -5, and of course we are looking for the value of b. Be careful your b's don't start to look like 6's, of course. So 6, -35, add 35 to both sides. Is that 41? And I get a value for b. Together now I have my final answer for the equation of a line, y equal 7x plus 41. You put a big box around that and star that one as your answer.